Yeah, fine. So let's get started, guys. So others will be joining. Yeah. So we talked about some of the features supported by app integration. So now that we will talk about leftover topics. Yeah. We have not talked about DB connection stuff. So plus admin activities, I have not talked about it. Replication tasks, debugging and tuning. Yeah. So these are the leftover topics that we have within this DI plus AI, yeah, data integration and app integration. Right? So yeah, let us try to get into it practically. So yeah, let us just yeah. First thing, let us try to focus on database connection. Yeah, as we all know that theoretically, like what are the prerequisites that are required before we make use of any database, right? So, like MySQL or Oracle or whatever, right? The first thing that's required is we need to first install database server. Oracle means Oracle TNS business and corresponding DB instance. If you go to MySQL server, similar if you go to Postgre, we need to install corresponding server, similar DB2 or whatever. Yeah, that is the first thing we need to check. So let us check MySQL. I think I've already shown that. Let me try to recap because we are going to cover complete stuff on today's session. Yeah. Yes. So MySQL server is up and running. So one database server is ready to use. Yeah. So now we need to verify that whether we could able to talk to this particular what you call server or not. Yeah. To do that, you can just open either command line client or graphical client. So let me try to get into command line client. Yeah. Yes. Then supply the credentials. Yeah. Okay. Either we can go with the command line or we can directly use what the client is already installed. We can use this or we can use MySQL command followed by username, host name, password, all that we can. So that's it. So we could able to log in. So which means server is ready to use. Yeah. Now next question. From IAC's perspective, what is required to establish connectivity with MySQL server? To do that, within this particular MySQL and sorry, IACS environment, so we need to make sure that appropriate connector got downloaded and kept it in what right location. For example, in this case, we can use general connectors over here, third party connectors, but we are focusing on generic to sorry specific to data integration server. In that case, we can go to data integration server, yeah, and ext drivers. This is where we need to place it. We have done it earlier, but we did not restart agent. Now I've just restarted and made it ready to use, right? So that's it. Yeah. So now whatever is required to talk to database from iics, it is ready. Next, from iics, do we need to configure this particular connector so that we can talk to that database through this connector? Answer is yes. For that, we need to get into administrator service, within which we can specify the driver name, which is JDBC driver name, right? So that will be done at agent level, or we can also just put it in put it in some location and specify the class path. One of them need to be done. So let us understand one of the best possible option. So for that, we need to select appropriate agent. For example, in this environment, we got only one agent. Yeah? So edit secure agent and look for what? This particular property, which is MySQL related property. Yeah, can you see here? So there is a MySQL JDBC driver name. Yeah. I repeat, we can see MySQL JDBC driver jar name. So we need to make sure that this connector name matches with what we have kept as part of this driver's location. Remember that. Yeah. So this also, I think I've said it earlier. So this we need to make sure. In case of some other connector with a different version, we can just change it. Like for example, 22 or 23. We have got latest connectors, right? You can just specify that. Or else you can just undo it. So let's say undo. So that's it. That we need to do it from ISA's side. Next step, we can build the connector or configuration connector, right? Within this administrator, or we can also do it from DI level also. Yeah. So let us try doing it from here. So select the new connection and specify it's a MySQL connection. Yeah. So then select what appropriate connection type. So we are using what MySQL connection types. Likewise, you can see DB related connection types, ODBC, Oracle, MS Access. We can also install what we call some tail connectors we have, and we can also have even external connectors which can be installed and get it registered to this particular IACS. In simple terms, we can use what? Any database, just to make it very simple. Yeah. So these are the pre-built connectors we are trying to use there. Yeah. So others
So
would
this art,
require. Yes, Ravi.
so this automatically places the driver in that location when you configure here, or that is different and this is different in the folder,
Yeah,
right? You showed some
yeah.
Java path, but if you configure here directly, let's say MySQL or Oracle, will it automatically work, or do you also have to place that there, the driver in that
So
folder?
this is mandatory for some databases. It is not mandatory for some data. For example, for Oracle, it is not
Hmm.
mandatory. You can directly use the normal
Oh, okay,
connection. Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
But yes, we have to place it here mandatorily for some databases. Ravi? Yeah,
Okay.
fine. So now we can supply username and password. And host name, we are just installing the same system. If it is different system, we can supply that host name here. And port number, where this particular MySQL server listening to. This is a default port number, guys, for MySQL. Oracle 1521, you know that. And database name, so we can just go here and say show databases. And let's say create database. Let us say. So we are trying to make use of sample. Yeah. So then get into this particular database and then create, let us say, table, table name, yeah, and fields. Yeah, you can just add a number of columns underneath, then insert into, let's say, table which is a T, column is A, and corresponding values plus 1, 2, 3, and add, let's say, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Then get it committed. That's it. Yeah. So I'm trying to show it from the beginning because we need to make sure that we understand every topic end to end. Remember, because we created the database, we got into it, then we created the structure, and then we inserted sample data to rows, and then we can also verify that whether we got the data or not. Yeah, so we got it. Now we need to pull the data from this particular table, right? So now let us get into what this connection stuff where we can supply sample. Correct, no? Now let us test. Yeah. Can you see, guys? Now test for this connection was successful. Now I can just observe these connection details and ask questions if you have any questions. Yeah. Any questions in this? So in case if you have, or if you are using any certificates, one based on JDBC, then we need to configure this. In case if you are using, let's say, SSL, this is secure authentication, we can also enable this particular checkbox. Yeah. This is another option. And then if you are using ODBC connector with secure provision, right, then we need to configure this as well. Or else they're optional for normal invocation of this particular or usage of this particular database. Yeah. Code page, I think we all know. So it's similar to any other connection, a flat file or application, whatever, right? It's similar to that. Yeah. Yeah. This is very straightforward, guys. Username, password, host name, port number, database name. Yeah. And save it. Is it clear to everyone? Yes. Now let us save it. Yeah. That's it. Now we could able to talk to database from iics. That is done. Now the next question. Can we pull the data from the specified connection or not? That we are going to do it. Push and pull both could be done within iics, both DI and AI. AI is app integration, guys, not artificial intelligence. Yeah, it has come up. So let us build one mapping to understand like how to pull the data from a specific table from a specified connection. Yeah. So go to source and can you see here? we specified MySQL connection, right? So it appears here automatically. Then browse to a location to this particular schema, right? Within that, we have just added one table. That's why we can see only one. So we can also confirm here, show tables from the backend. Yeah, there's only one table, right? So same thing we could able to see over here, right? Select it and say okay. Then preview data. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could able to pull, right? Which means what? Whatever is done so far, everything is fine. There is no problem. Now we can also verify the data transfer. Here we have just completed what? Specifying the table and with a specified connection and see whether we could able to view it or not. Only that much we have done it. Then we need to focus on data transfer to other media, let's say file or application or some other target. Yeah. So let us specify the target file connection and then any file name. Okay. So let's mysql tgt.txt. Yeah. Say okay. So that's it. Now you can specify the mapping. Mapping MySQL. We're just focusing on what? Reader part, right? And save it. So that's it, guys. So that's all about the usage of MySQL. Then run this particular mapping and see whether the data transfer would take place or not. That we are going to verify. Yeah. So meantime, if you have any questions, you guys can shoot out. Yeah. So meantime, let me cover some critical parts of CI. Can you see, guys? I think I didn't talk about it. But anyway, we can have any number of applications. So we can make them to talk to each other within CAI. So like here, yeah, this is a platform which is going to help us to make multiple applications to interact. And this app integration, yeah, so would contain what our IICs contains what CTI, CAI, but there are many more things which are not listed here because we are focusing on CDI and CII. So others are not listed. We have got many more, like catalog we have, data governance we have, Axon we have, API we have, API manager, and we have got MDM specific services like Business 360, Reference 360, Customer 360, Product 360. So we got some more services like integration of Power Center with what to IACS and so on. Yeah. But here I've just listed the ones that are relevant for this particular training program, right? And then why do we need to use it? To make multiple apps to talk to each other. I think I talked about it with some more options other than what we can see here. Plus major features that we use for DI and AI is what one interface which is going to help us to take care of all in the sense right from access till building the data warehouse. Now for access, we got a pre-built and custom connectors. For discover, we got a data profiling service here. Then for quality, we have got data quality service. And for MDM, we got MDM related services. Then we have got ETL related service DICA. And then we have got deliver, which we don't have separate tool as such over here. So if you want, we can also build custom layer, and result of it here we are dumping it to the house. Yeah? And then this particular what you call services, yeah, which would take care of at any latency. So which means what? So anybody can talk to this particular what you call services. One, for bridging API. Second, to take care of event management like messaging systems. And third, once you take care of configuration process flow or task flow, whatever, right? We can just get it published so that anybody can make those out without latency or with a specific latency. Yeah. So, which means subscribers can just subscribe and avail these capabilities. So, agent part we all know it is one of the utility or service which is going to help us in order to perform two major aspects. One, metadata. Second, data. I think we have used it quite a lot with many examples. Yeah. So across firewall with a proxy, firewall with what? External authentication or authorization. Yeah. So everything is not listed here. Only generic thing not listed here. Yeah. And connectivity part. So in simple terms, we can say that we can use for any connector. Yeah. So provided one, we need to have a license. Second, we need to install it. And third, we need to register within iics. And fourth, we can start making use of it, like what we did in today's session with respect to what MySQL. Yeah. When it comes to components of CAI, so our primary focus point is basically on what process flow. So we have just used particular process designer in order to build a process publish, which is a deploy, and see whether we can invoke it from outside app integration or not. We have done it from what we call Google Chrome. Yeah. So we have done it, right? So this is how this process flow would look like. We've already discussed. Now the question, so if you want to monitor the activities of what we did within this app integration, right? This particular app AI console, like we have got to monitor within this DI, right? So our my jobs, this is similar to that. But this is for CAI, that is for TI. Yeah. And then once we have built it, we can use cloud server, which can cloud server means any server which is hosted in the cloud, or we can also use what local agent, provided we need to have access to that. Ravi, I think you're trying to ask question on one day, right? So that's it. Yeah. So that's what we can see over here. Yeah. So we can use on cloud server, we can have agent or we can have local agent, provided we need to have access to specific portals or apps. Once we have it, we could able to talk. That's it. This is a critical part of CAI. Yeah. I talked about it more than what we have seen now because this I've just kept in documentation with the little information. Yeah. So that is required for advanced people who already have got app integration experience. So 4 5 years. So let us try to refresh this. So we've got only two rows, right? In database, we got only two rows, right? So statistics wise, it is perfect. Yeah. Now we need to verify it in the target. That's all. Yeah. So this is fine. Two rows. Yeah. And then we can go to target. Can you see, guys? The file got generated, and we could able to see header followed by content. That's it. Like how we can make use of one of the database from start to end. So that's it, guys. Any questions from anybody on this database part?
No. Actually, with the licensing side, CDA and
Hey,
CA
your
are
voice is
separate
breaking.
license.
Can you please
This
come
is
closer
Ravi.
to the mic and speak out?
Okay. So this is Ravi.
Yeah.
Is CAI and CDI? Are they both different licenses, or if you get like Informatica, you get all the licenses together,
No,
like
no, no. We have
CA
got
and CDA?
yeah. So we got package license, Ravi. If you buy complete IDMC, now its the latest name is what IDMC. If you buy complete IDMC license, you will get all the services offered by Informatica in the cloud environment.
Mm.
That's the first package. And second,
Okay.
specific licenses. So specific
Mhm.
license for DI only, specific to
Okay.
CI and DI, and so on, Ravi. It is similar to
Okay.
Informatica local environment, right?
Mhm.
Like power center separate,
Okay.
data quality separate, like
Mhm.
that, right?
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So fine. Any other questions? Yeah, fine. So now I hope database part is clear. I think Mamata, you were trying to ask this question on there, right? About database stuff. I hope now you got the clarity, right?
Yes, yes, Narsimha.
Yeah. So now let us try getting into what other topics. So yes, here I think I didn't talk about one task, which is replication task, because that time Salesforce was not configured and database also was not configured. Now both are ready. So we can try to configure this. This is very straightforward task, guys. So we'll just quickly complete that. Let's say we'll try to focus on from application to what file example. Yeah, app means that's a Salesforce. I don't know, did we do that? I think we have done, right? Yes, I guess. Yeah. All let's try to use only specific ones. I think we have done this. So probably I think we can focus on all objects from database. Yeah. Because Salesforce, I think we have done it. So click on next. Yeah. So then specify, let's say target file connection. Yeah, all the target files will have the prefix of SF underscore. Here you can put what? DB underscore. Yeah. So mainly we use replication from Salesforce Cloud to something else. If you want to exclude, there's only one field, so no, nothing to exclude. Then limiting data, if you want, we can do it. We have done it synchronization task. Here also it's similar to that. Parameters stuff, mailing part, I think we have already talked about it. They are also similar to that. Yeah. So that's it. And trace level, standard or verbose, by default standard. Yeah. So let's try to run it. Yeah. So remember, guys, replication is one of the most widely used tasks, though it's very simple and easy to use because ultimately, one, we need to protect the data, and second, we need to save the data so that in case of any disaster happens in anywhere, right? Anywhere in the sense India or some other regions, then we should have a way to get it back. So that's where this replication task is going to help us to make or to have n number of replications across the globe. What more, right? Huh? So let us refresh it. Yes, it is done. We've got only two rows and only one task. If you have multiple, what you call tables, right? Then you will have proportional number of tasks that would be created by iics automatically. We don't need to do it. It is going to create sub job for each of the source table, and they'll get invoked in parallel. Remember that. Yeah? So now see here db underscore, right, followed by table name. That's it. Then data part is same as what we discussed, right? So that's all. Now let us talk about what are the leftover topics in app integration. Yeah.
I have a question, Narsima, in here.
Yes.
So how yeah, it will know there is more than one table? Do we need to like input those or mention those, or how it will recognize?
We need to specify, Raymond.
You just provide the connection, right? I saw that
Exactly. From and to.
it will take only one table on from there.
Yeah, exactly. We need to specify the connection from and also to. So then rest will be taken care by replication task. Raymond?
Okay. Okay. All right then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So now let us try to talk about, I think Salesforce we discussed as part of app integration or building a process flow, right? We have done that. Yeah. Let us try to focus on other steps. I think we know that, but let's quickly go through them. Mail part, we talked about it in two ways, right? Or we can say three ways. One, admin level, we can configure the mail and get the notification based on success, failure, or warning. And second, at specific to task level also, we can do it. And third, at app integration level also, we can just take care of it. I think we talked about two of them at task level and AI level, but we have not. I have not talked about admin level. I'll just show it today to get time. Yeah, I think we talked about this service step and sub process. We did not discuss. So yeah, now this part we know it. Assignment task. I think we have done it. And sub process. It is similar to what you call workload, guys. Workload is a sub workflow, right? Calling the sub workflow from top level work. This is exactly similar to that. Yeah. So let us try doing it. Sub process. Let's say process start or whatever. That's it. Yeah. In case, see here, it takes what input or returns output, whatever, right? This is required at the time of invocation of the process, right? So rest, I think we don't need to worry. So I think we talked about it, right? Yeah, let us focus only on what sub process and name. Let us say process sub process. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Let us try to publish and see whether we can invoke a sub process from outside or not. Yeah. Yes, it is completed successfully. So we can see the relevant targets, like whatever is done as part of this particular process flow. Yeah. And if you want to supply any input to this, so I think we talked about input also, right? So it's not taking input here. This is the wrong thing. So whatever, if you supply the input parameters, proper input parameters, like we talked about the right one, right? For sub process, we don't have any input parameters. So here, if you supply like this, right, you'll get a 400, which is HTTP error code. Yeah. And then, so we can also see invalid option. Yeah. So if the valid option, you get valid response. So you can see invalid arguments. Yeah. So that's it. If you supply proper argument, you'll get proper result. Yeah. So that's it. Like how to make a call to what? Sub process. Now let us try to create one more process. Yeah. Where we'll try to focus on other supported steps. Yeah. Yeah. First thing I'll talk about these properties also. Before that, I'll talk about administrator service. For now, we are using what? Anonymous access, which means anybody can access this. Next, create part, I think we talked about it. Now let's use this and then wait for this particular step to get over for a minute or for a second. Then the milestone step will be used for messaging part. Maybe we have not configured messaging, so it's not applicable. Receive again, wait for event to take place and throw. Yeah, before we use throw, right? Let us start making use of simple parallel step where we can call n number of tasks in parallel. For example, let's say we are using jump. Yeah? So jump to appropriate task. Yeah? So here jump is not applicable. So because we did not configure other steps, right? So we can use what some service, let's say service followed by what you call, let's say system service. I think we have not used system service, right? Then select run cloud task over here. So which means what? I think theoretically one day I talked about we can call data integration task from app integration. Now we are trying to do that. Yeah. Now select any task. Let's say Salesforce to a file or application to a file, whatever, any task. So here we are trying to understand calling DI task from application to just. If you want to have, if you have any faults, you can just catch them, or else it is optional. And now other inputs, they're optional. If you want, we can supply. Let's say wait for what you call this particular task to complete. If you have any pre-built fields which will be used to take care of it, we can do it. Or we can also have any formula to take care of waiting part. Or else we can just ignore it. It's an optional thing. Or you can just say wait for this particular task to complete if we enable that. With condition, without condition, we can specify here. Let's say we are waiting without condition. So without condition means till this gets over. Next, fail on errors. So we can also enable it just to show error messages. Now, this is how we can make a call to data integration tasks. Now, let us try to make use of this. Receive is basically for messaging. So, but if I use it, doesn't make sense. So let us try to see here. It doesn't have anything here. That is why it doesn't make sense. I deleted it. Now, let us try to make use of, let's say, throw. Yeah, throw false. I think we have seen this in task flow also, if I remember correctly. Let's say error code is what? 100 and message is what? Unexpected flow. The reason is what? Unexpected. Fine. So that's it. Yeah. This is how we can build our own what? Custom error codes and corresponding messages. Yeah. So that's it. And once it is done, we can specify parallel paths. In a sense, we can add n number of parallel tasks by clicking on add button over here. We know that. That's it. Yeah. So besides to that, if you want to build execution of parallel tasks based on the condition, we can also do it. For example, we got a condition over here where if we have current user which matches with like whatever the condition, right? For example, equals to anonymous, then one flow, or else some other flow. Yeah. So that also we can specify. So I don't know spelling is right or wrong. Whatever. If it is not right, then it will just go with some otherwise flow. Yeah. So that's it. Equals to that, then invoke appropriate task over here. Yeah. Like for example, that thing and done. You can also end the step if you want it. Let's say if it is equal to anonymous, end the steps. End the step or else proceed further. That also can be done. Right? So then jump, yes, jump is required if you have configured other tasks with all the expected things. For example, here, this is Salesforce, right? And specify any table, specify any number of input fields. So whatever, test iics with SF Salesforce for name. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Then we can specify end of this process flow. Yeah, with the 200, which indicates everything is fine. Yeah. So yeah. Yes. So that's it. Yeah. And save it. So here one new thing that we are trying to learn, this decision part parallel path, we know that. One new thing is what? We are trying to understand how to invoke data integration tasks. Rest of them, they're straightforward. Yeah. Yeah. So here we got code details unexpected flow. Like whatever we have given the details, right? Code is what 1000 we gave. Details we gave unexpected flow. Yeah. So that's what we configured as part of process flow. Right? So this where we defined. Yes or no? So because we are running both of them in parallel. So both will be executed anyway. Yeah. So that's why we got this error message. If you don't want it, we can delete it and specify some other task, which is, let's say, just wait for a second. That's it. Yeah. Now the question, did we get the result as we expect here? You will get it. You can see 752 just now, right? It is invoked, which is yes, this is done, right? Yeah. I can just publish. Now it's taking time because you're not kept any throw. So let it get invoked. Meantime, there is a We can also use another application, let's say Postman. So even from there also, we can invoke what app integration process flows, or we can also call it as API, iics API or IDMC API. Yeah. API means application programming interface. Through that, anybody can make use of that API from outside. Yeah. So let it come up. Meantime, yeah. So it is completed now, right? Now we could able to see what you call appropriate, what you call task would get executed. So which task we call a replication task, whatever, right? See here, you can see 753, it got invoked. Yeah. Like whatever we specified from what app integration, right? So to be invoked. But if you want to see the status of it, we can go to this app integration console. Yeah. So select app integration console. Yeah. So where we can see it got completed. So our name is process 3. We did not change the name. The proper name information. So you can just click on that particular process flow where we can see in the complete monitoring part. Plus, if you want to see the advanced view, this I think we have already talked about it. So that also can be seen, which means what? This particular advanced view will be used for both app integration plus we can also use it for data integration. Not only that, we can also use it for other services anyway. Yeah, so it's a dead path. So it has gone to wait here. Then we can see parallel invocation here. And then we can see run cloud task. It is executed successfully, which means data integration task. Then again, we have used wait, whatever. So whatever is configured, right? So complete path of a invocation, right? Only that much only can be seen here. Remember that. So dead path, we cannot say it. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So that's it, yeah, about this particular process flow. Yeah. We can see end process flow. We give that message, right? It is ended there. That's it. Yeah. So which means after invocation of this particular cloud task, parallel task is what wait, right? So that's what I think we have already seen it. Yeah. So we can see here wait, both parallel, right? Then it is ended over. So that's it. So which means path of invocation can be seen as part of this. Detailing part can be seen as part of advanced way. Yeah. So now if you want to nail down to like what comes in, what went out, all that, right? I think I talked about one day, right? So user is going to be anonymous user, and then output is what pre-built statistics like success rows or failed rows or whatever. So we have used database stuff. In that, it contains only two rows, and the temp, we are not focusing on that. Then we can get into what fault handlers in case of there are any faults, event handlers in case of any events. Now here we can see step by step. First, account, then account related variables like step input or whatever, right? Can you see here? This is a connection name. Inside that, we selected what? Account is an Salesforce object. So we gave what? Test ISCS in Salesforce. That's a parameter value we give, right? Which is the account name. That's it. So these are the complete details that can be seen. So this will be useful if you want to debug the complete or if you want to understand the complete flow. Yeah. So we can see here, this is a connection name. Then this is an object. Then object is what? Account. That's where we are trying to dump account name. Yeah. So that's it. If you have any input parameters, all that, you could able to see over here. Then at the end, we can see the status of this particular populating, sorry, inserting data to that particular account object. Then followed by wait. This is also completed with a specified seconds. You can see 1 second here, right? Yes or no? So that we have done it. Then we have also supplied as part of parallel path, right? Anonymous user, whatever, right? So here we could able to see like whether we have given proper variables or not. This is a current user. Then specify what I call name current user, and it got successfully taken the input. Yeah. So yes, this is basically for actual value that we supplied. This is what we supply, right? Anonymous. Yeah. This, if you want to get into the details, you can just drill down by using pre-control buttons. Yeah. So then end step, we have not given anything yet. So it's a dead path. It's a control has not gone to that particular path. So because we gave end step in between, right? Control has not gone there. Yeah. So yes. So if you have it, then we can able to see the corresponding details. Yeah. Similarly, we have also supplied what? Parallel paths, where we can see any number of tasks which can be executed in parallel. And finally, end process flow. Control has reached to that particular vertical path. Yeah. So that's it. So all are completed. Finally, we can see end process flow, which is finished successfully. So which means what? It has not gone to some paths. It has gone to only one path. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Like how to understand here. That's the outline. If you want to see executing steps, you can also see it here. So, and if you have any faults, you can just select and look at the faults. Any data change that happens, you can just look at here. So if it is applicable, we can say it. If not, like we don't. Yeah. So that's it about like how this app integration console is going to help us. We can monitor all the processes. Like we started with, let's say, process start or whatever, right? All that can be monitored over here. One, to look at this monitoring aspects, and second, we can also see statistics of what process also. Yeah. For example, here when it got deployed, you know, all that can be seen. This is basically for process tracking, and this one is basically to monitor the multiple steps that we have underneath. Yeah. Similarly, for other processes, yeah. We can also filter based on what some other what you call environment. If you have any others, for now we are using only one. If you have more than one, we can also select and get it monitored. And after that, if you want to monitor only specific process, so we can also specify here. If it is not there, it will not display. Now I have just given the right only one process which can be seen here, which is faulted. Whatever reason could be anything. So that's it. And then similarly APIs, connections, all that we could able to monitor here, which means whatever connections that we configured within this app integration, or if you have any logs, deployment logs, right? Just now we deployed this. Deployed means published. So published by using this particular user on this date, process name. We can see all the deployment statuses, all the processes you can see over here. So server configuration, basically we use what? This workflow engine, right? Which is active voice. So we could also able to see corresponding properties over here. And email alerts, guys, in case we have specified any email alerts, or if you want to specify, we can also specify here, by configuring SMTP details. And server health. So yeah, this is not supported for this particular agent. Yes, if you have any agent over here, then we can specify duplication is not required. So alarms, if you have any alarms that we configure, right, those things can be seen here. So that's about app integration stuff, guys. So yeah, probably that's all about this training. Yes, if you want to learn that performance tuning topic, then you can just join in the next session. Yeah, fine. We'll talk about it on Monday. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions from anybody, guys?
Yeah, Narasimha, how often we have to use in the real-time scenario this API
It
in application?
depends. It depends on the requirement. Yeah. So how often it's a question mark.
Mhm.
So in the sense, it depends our need. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because client to client, okay? Clients
Exactly.
require. Got it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Narsimha, can you please share the documents that you are showing in the class, the PPTs?
Yes. 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 I'll share it, madam. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks all. So I'll move to some other session. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah,
Bye,
thanks
guys.
all.